Hello, 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 and welcome to the Vagabond Way podcast. The journey goes ever on with The Long Road. This episode, plant flowers in your neighbour's garden. This week, The Long Road reflect on our first live gig together in over a year, the surprises, the enjoyable moments, the funny thoughts you have whilst performing. Plus, we look ahead to the Festival of the Artisan, Friday the 26th and Saturday the 27th of March, festivaloftheartisan.co.uk. Kev Moore takes us on the next steps in his Camino trek, and Steve Bonham takes us behind the scenes as he writes 2 brand new songs for the Extraordinary Stories project. The Vagabond Way podcast featuring The Long Road is exploring the world of the troubadour, the adventurer, the vagabond. The world isn't beige, it isn't processed, it's authentic, it's rich, and it's real. If those are the sorts of sentiments that make your brain light up, then hop on board. We are embracing all of those things, we're celebrating all of that, and we'd love it if you've joined us on the journey. Greetings, I am Chris the Bish Leiden. Welcome to the Long Road Party. Now somehow, mysteriously and magically, we're on to episode 60 of this podcast. Long-time listeners will know how I love a good arbitrary numerical landmark, and 60 is quite the landmark. For those of you who have listened since episode 1, good on you for sticking with it. Those of you who might be listening for the first time today, I hope you enjoy, and please do feel free to check out the back catalogue. There's plenty to get through today, so we'll get straight onto the content, but keep an eye on our social media during April. The Long Road, we've got a documentary to release and 4 brand new music videos on the way. And as you'll hear in today's episode, catch The Long Road perform at the Festival of the Artisan tomorrow night, Saturday the 27th of March, and catch up whenever you like afterwards on the festival website, festivaloftheartisan.co.uk. So, on with today's show. I'm going to hand over to me. Greetings everybody there in podcast land. Here we are together, The Long Road, via Zoom one more time for another of our digital chats. We've got Kev, who is still in the UK. Hello Kev, how are you?
Initium sapenti timor domini.
Oh my wow. That sounds like a bit of Latin. Is that Latin?
It is Latin.
And what does it mean?
I believe it means wisdom comes first in the fear of the Lord. And I think it's the John Port School motto.
Oh my wow.
That is actually true.
Yeah, it is.
Beginning of wisdom is the fear of the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, I remember that being explained on day one, thinking, I'm in the wrong bleeding place.
yeah. Similar thoughts here. Similar thoughts here, Steve. Yeah.
That's me done then.
Yeah.
Wow. And we've got Steve at home in Derbyshire. Hello, Steve.
How far?
What is how far?
It's Nigerian pigeon.
Right.
Okay.
The John Port School motto had changed by the time I got there. It was no longer fear in the face of the Lord or whatever you just said it was. My God,
the beginning of wisdom
terrifying.
is the fear of the Lord.
No, I think whilst I was there, it was the opportunity to succeed.
Oh, yeah.
But now, because it's John Port Spencer Academy or whatever it is now, because my sister's kids go there now, it's got another tagline. I don't know what it is now. It's much longer and it's
Plant flowers in your neighbour's garden. Feed your neighbour's pigs.
Well, yeah, we could do this whole show just guessing as to what the current John Port School. Yes.
Don't come down the chimney at Christmas if the fire's lit.
All good advice.
All good advice.
Today's show, we're talking a little bit about, well, the fact that a couple of weeks ago we were lucky enough to do a live show, the three of us. We managed to do a live stream gig online, The Long Road, performing together for the first time in over a year. We can't quite remember off the top of our heads when the actual last gig we did was, but we managed to get this live stream in, performing some of our new stuff, some of our old stuff as well. And Kev, I don't know what you're thinking, but for me it was amazing to do a live show. I was struck by a lot of, during the setup we were talking about it, how much stuff that you just sort of had slipped out of your head that you got to sort out because it'd been so long.
It was surreal, a surreal feeling, really.
But then it was an utter delight.
Yeah, it was a delight to play. I had those moments where I'm just looking down. I mean, fair enough, I was using a new sort of setup, but I'm looking down at the floor and spent many unhappy hours gazing at my pedals and my leads and going, what am I doing? you know, because it's literally had stopped becoming second nature, you know.
And for me, I'd really forgotten how much goes on in my head when I'm in performance mode, which is often quite unrelated to the actual performance that's going on. And you find yourself thinking about things.
Yeah.
And I can only do okay. The songs that are newer and I've got to concentrate on more. I really have to concentrate and think. For our shows right now, I'm doing 4 things at once. I'm for some of the new songs, playing piano with my right hand, playing organ with my left hand, playing cajon with my left foot, playing the piano pedal with my right foot. So all 4 limbs are involved. And then often, for choruses and things, I'm singing as well. So lots of stuff going on. But even with all that, sometimes I find myself thinking about, and I can't even pinpoint what, just random things. Or
have you left the oven on?
Yeah, things like that. Or sometimes I find myself thinking, what the hell are you doing? How are you doing this? How do your hands know how to make that shape?
I know.
How are you remembering all these chords? How do all 3 of you remember all these
and that's
chords?
fatal,
and all these words?
fatal.
It has moments, as you both know, where it's that. Yeah, I got this little habit, so I'm singing away, and I have to watch my mind doesn't wander. All sorts of shit can hit the fan when I do that. But I do have a habit, like of singing one verse, and I mentally go and have a look at the next verse, just to make sure it's still there. And there's nothing as frightening as finding a big black hole, and you think, I don't know what I'm going to be singing in about 15 seconds. And then you try various things, and you think, nope, that's still not it. And then you start thinking, what am I going to sing? And all this is going on, and your mouth's wobbling away, doing its own thing. And then you think, let's sing the first verse again or something, But that happens.
The best trick, but it's hard to do, is to actually stop thinking.
Yeah.
And then it comes back, but it's very hard to do.
There's probably bits of the shape of performing that are built in that will just never go away from us now because they're just sort of intrinsic to us. And then there are some bits which are, if you don't keep them sort of tickled in practice, as we maybe haven't been able to do for the past year, that they do suffer a little bit. And for me, I'm always amazed that when there's bits of the lyrics that I can't tell you what the lyrics are right now, but if we were performing it and that bit's coming up, my brain knows it feels that shape coming up, and it fills that shape with the correct bits of information.
That's a little sort of trigger it sends into your brain, isn't it, to release that information? Yeah.
So what was for you guys? What was the most enjoyable bit of the live show?
Well, I think mine was just a physical factor, the physicality of playing. I'd missed that. You've got to keep going. Everything's got to. But then, spare your blushes, guys. But watching these 2 jugglers on either side of me, tossing one instrument up in the air and catching another, and it's pretty bloody awesome. I enjoy that. I enjoy the ensemble of it, and then some of the stuff we do, it's pretty amazing that we can do it live. Because the way we write and the way we record, we then have this bleeding moment of truth when we say, okay, because the way I write is in bits, and if I'm writing on my own or with Kevin, it's kind of layered up. Then we record in layers, and then we have this moment where you've got to hit it, and do it all live. And the fact you guys end up playing half a dozen instruments each at once is astonishing, really. It is. It gives a great big sound, and I love that great big sound that we do.
For me, one of the revelations was preparing for this live gig was, and we knew this a year ago or 15 months ago when we first recorded this song, but because of COVID, we didn't actually have a reason to really work on it until just now. For me, that was Ballad of Dwayne and Billy Marie. That we had to work out how to make that song work, and it was one of my favourites because we've managed to make it work with just the 3 of us and playing with the resources we've got, that we can still find that world that it's in. For me,
there's not much missing. It's incredible, really. There isn't much missing from the recorded track.
What about for you, Kev? What was the?
I suppose I was too sort of rabbit in the headlights to think about any highlights, to be honest. But just the fact that I suppose the highlight was thinking the double neck can work. Thinking, yes, I can. This will be a way of somehow keeping some of the integrity of the bass line, and I can hint at some of the guitar figures which are quite integral to the songs and kind of need to be in there where possible. So I thought, okay, this can work. So that was a nice feeling.
And it was setting us up for what's coming up this weekend. In fact, the first night is tonight for the Festival of the Artisan 2021. And we are all three of us are involved in various ways. So Steve is doing a solo slot opening the festival tonight.
Yeah.
And then the three of us are performing tomorrow night, Saturday night, as The Long Road. Kev is hosting the Artisan Club tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, Artisan Club. And Kev is comparing both Friday night and Saturday night as well. So what are we looking forward to?
I'm certainly looking forward to introducing the up-and-coming acts on the Saturday afternoon. That'll be really interesting. And it's going to be fun to see the different sort of things that they bring to the show. And
different backgrounds as well and different sort of storylines going on.
Very much so, yeah. That's going to be fun. And also, I really enjoyed Blair's set a couple of years ago, so I'll be looking forward to listening to him again.
Blair Dunlop is headlining on the Saturday night, so after us on the Saturday night. Opening up on Saturday night, we've got Elaine Davidson and Nick Jenkins. Elaine is a singer-songwriter from Cumbria, and she did a little slot for us on the Artisan Music Show a few months ago. It was great to hear some of her stories. Again, she's got this sort of American strand going through some of her songs from her time over there. So that'll be great to hear some more of her stuff on the Saturday night. On the Friday, Steve, what are you looking for on the Friday night after your opening slot? You can relax.
Really, yeah, I can. And I can't even go and drink afterwards actually because I've got to go home. It's going to be great. I mean, Chris Hall and the band Little Roost. I mean, Chris, he is such an important character in acoustic music in the UK. I mean, the whole Cajun Zydeco stuff. I mean, he was there at the beginning. He got it going. He's so talented. If you haven't heard his interview, then you're missing something. How he ends up playing with Paul McCartney and being introduced to these legendary people, and they're all introducing themselves as if he doesn't know who they are already. It's just a classic story. And then one of the great pleasures I've had actually is interviewing Bella Hardy, who's the act on at the end, and just delightful person, absolutely delightful. I really got something about her. I mean, she's just a wonderful singer, obviously award winner, but this is someone who's taken himself off to China and spent a year over there singing in a remote region of China and hanging out with locals, taking herself off to Nashville. There's a real adventurousness which is not particularly typical, I suppose, of many singers in that genre. I look at the whole bill and think, wow, what a lineup! You'd be crazy not to listen to it all.
It all kicks off tonight, so 7:30 UK time on today, Friday the 26th of March. You can watch it all online at festivaloftheartisan.co.uk, and it'll be over social media and it's on our YouTube channel as well. But head to the website; it's the best way. We've also got the premiere of the video of "Sing Together," which is the festival anthem that Kev wrote, that we've asked people from all over the world to contribute to, and we've literally got contributions from all over the world. All kinds of different people have sent us videos to join in on "Sing Together." So that's going to be great. We're going to be premiering that at a mysterious point in the festival. So you'll have to watch the whole festival to find out when that's going to appear. So that's Festival of the Artisan. That's happening this weekend, tonight, Friday the 26th of March, and tomorrow, Saturday the 27th of March. All day tomorrow and Friday night. Check it out at festivaloftheartisan.co.uk. So the three of us will be back, having recovered from our frantic weekend, next week.
We better head to the dressing room, guys.
Yes.
Can we talk about the riders? So for the festival tonight and tomorrow, I'll be playing two songs. I'll be playing a lot of songs, but in this case, two songs which I've written especially for the festival. And it's all been a bit of an experiment, and a lovely one, and an intriguing one, and to be honest, a really challenging one. We invited people to tell stories of their family or their friends, and I committed to writing a song or two as a result. And these are the two songs at the moment that have come out of that process. Though I've written lots of songs before, and lots of songs about particular people, this felt different. It was like I was doing something quite intimate. I had to not just tell the story, but I had to honour the family that story came from and make sure that it was something that worked. And people's stories are incredible. I mean, my ongoing argument that each of us has within us extraordinary stories, more than borne out by that. And the first song I'm going to try and play, and this is very rough early days, and I look forward to recording them properly, is a song I've called The King of Persia. And it's a song about the father of someone from the northeast who had a most traumatic childhood. You know, both parents dying, family members dying, a number of brothers who died. And eventually, it seems he just had enough. He got on a boat and sailed off to what was then Persia, looking for a better life. And he literally never came home. Well, not literally, figuratively never came home at least. He spent his life living in different countries all over the world, met lots of strange and interesting people, had a family and obviously a daughter here who he loved dearly, but could never settle back at home. By all accounts, a fascinating, intelligent, inspirational, but very difficult man. The song is called The King of Persia. Don't ask me to be what I am not. Ask me to remember what I forgot. Don't ask me now not to sail away. Take my chance to make some hay. Not be bound by the blind hand of fate. Jarra lad, though I am of late, down to Falmouth town to find a boat. Got my papers inside my coat. I was the king of Persia then. Carriage was a tanker on the ocean's rolling swell. I was the king of Persia way back when. Ties of bind were fraying, could not stop me straying down to the quay and saying, I'll be on my way again. You might say that I was wrong. You might say I was gone too long. I'll raise a glass of sunset wine to my friends back home and that girl of mine. End my days on a foreign shore. The time's chilly call, well I'll ignore. I'll have you know that I travel well. Those sandy winds that have cast their spell. I was the king of Persia then. The carriage was a tanker on the ocean's rolling swell. I was the king of Persia way back when. Ties of bind were fraying, could not stop me straying down to the quay and saying, I'll be on my way again. Ties of bind were fraying, could not stop me straying down to the quay and saying, I'll be on my way again. That was the King of Persia. Lots to do on it, lots of things to work on, but you've heard it here and you heard it first. The second story was as difficult as that one actually to get my head around, because again it's so big and it's so extraordinary. It's about the grandfather born on Guernsey, a little island in the English Channel. son of a school teacher who, fleeing the Nazi invasion of the Second World War, ended up joining the army, the Royal Engineers. And his life was extraordinary. He fought in the desert, was awarded the Military Cross for rescuing a comrade under fire after successfully leading a retreat of the rest of his men. He won another one with a similar act of extraordinary, almost insane courage. He was a member of the Special Boat Service and then the SAS. He ended up helping the Belgian Special Forces. He ended up in Malaysia. A life full of conflict and terror, I should imagine, often. Yet he was a man clearly of gentle persuasion, fascinated by birds, set up the Army Ornithological Society, interested in plants, conservation and removal of landmines. I mean, how do you write a song, 3 minutes of life like that? And in the end, I tried to imagine him sitting in the garden of his house in retirement, looking out over the sea. I have no idea whether he could have done this, by the way, but just looking out at the sea and appreciating where he was, and also remembering the things, like most soldiers, he would have found it impossible to talk about. And so this is my attempt at that song, which is called at the moment An Old Soldier Sits in the Evening Sun. An old soldier sits in the evening sun. An open door, the music runs. Across the bay, a ship sails by. It's taken young men away to die. Scent on the blossom from the cherry tree. The sulphur lingers in the gentle breeze. They call him hero, he won't have that. No need for bugles from where he sat. This is my island, this is my way. This is I cherish the end of the days. All that I fought for, this much is true. This is my island, I leave it to you. What I needed to, knuckle down and saw it through. Carried my friend through the storm and blaze. Found my way back through the landmine's maze. This is my island, this is my way. This what I cherish, the end of my days. All that I fought for, this much is true. This is my island, I leave it to you. This is my island, I leave it to you. This is my island, I leave it to you. So many thanks to Trish and to Gemma for sharing these amazing stories. Thank you so much.
Hello again and welcome to Kev's Cafe Corner, where we're currently hiking the Camino Trail to Santiago de Compostela in northern Spain. So come on, lace your boots, it's time to hit the trail. Today is Thursday, October the 15th, and I'm in Soto de Barco. I awoke around 7:30am, so a good night's sleep, I reckon. That said, I seem to have a headache. The most alarming thing, though, is the incessant cacophony on the roof created by the relentless rain. It sounds positively biblical out there. I'm certainly going to make full use of my midday checkout time. Fingers crossed the rain subsides by then. I'm hoping to secure a bed in Soto de Luna at a hostel there for the princely sum of €8. If they're full, they do seem to allow camping, so although the weather is foul, it should be an easy walking day. The main purpose of which is to trim the distance to Cadaveda, which is the next main destination on my trip. All being well, if I reach Soto tonight, I'll have completed at least 238 kilometres, so allowing for rest days, I'm averaging around 20 kilometres per day. I'm on my second coffee of the day, and now, perhaps only momentarily, there is silence, blissful calm. When you embark on a trek such as this, you are delivering yourself to the elements and effectively saying, do your worst. You have to therefore take the good with the bad with equally good heart. I've lived a cosseted life for the last 15 years or so, one I gladly grasped, having been in a different place at the time. Security was important, but I think there comes a time in a person's life where they need to see just what they can do without. Is it possible to reduce and distill happiness? True happiness, not the one solely derived from things and possessions. I hope so. I set off in bright sunshine. My decision to wait until midday seemed to have been the right one, though all around was still glistening and underfoot was decidedly wet and muddy. It was a lovely and comparatively leisurely day. I took my time, had a few breaks, a nice coffee at a picnic table enjoying the sun. I found a great little cafeteria adjoining a petrol station and asked if they did food. Did they? For just €10 I got a potato and meat potage, absolutely huge as a starter, and a pork schnitzel in breadcrumbs with chips to follow, plus cheesecake, a Coke and a coffee. I was absolutely stuffed. It certainly slowed my pace. I finally made it to the albergue at 6pm on the dot. There was one guy there who showed me the amenities. I later discovered he was a pilgrim who was painting a giant 20-foot canvas en route, and it seemed to be doing his head in. Looked like hard work to me. It was a 20-bed dormitory, which for the moment just contained him and me. The building had been funded by a pilgrims' charity a couple of centuries previously, I believe. It reminded me of my old infant school in Mikulova. Later, another guy arrived with a dog called Lily, a sweet-natured thing. It would not be the last time I saw her. A little later, a girl cyclist arrived carrying the tiniest backpack. I couldn't imagine how you could do the Camino with so little. I discovered her name was Emile, from California, but kind of living in Copenhagen. We got on really well, and as I sat eating my packet soup that I'd made on my little stove, she came over and offered me her last croissant to go with it. These small acts of kindness are big moments on the Camino, and it meant a lot to me. The night brought problems. The first guy, you remember, the tortured artist, fell asleep immediately and began snoring for England. Plus, his phone wasn't on silent and he kept getting messages through the night. I don't think any of us could sleep a wink. Friday, October the 16th. Emile and I exchanged glances and shook our heads, confirming neither of us had slept at all. I made coffee for both of us and she told me her plans for the day. She was aiming to reach the town of Luanca on her bike, but she'd offered to ask around in Cadaveda to see if there was a place I might be able to stay. I set off ahead of her. She'd hoped to pass me on the way, but one of us must have taken a detour at the wrong time because I didn't see her. True to her word, though, she found me a link to an albergue that was open in Cadaveda for just €12. Wonderful. I now have my bike vanguard looking out for me. Next time, the perils of crossing water. See you later.
Plenty of other content this week, so just a short Bishop's Daily Bread entry this week as I reveal the true puppet master in the web of lies that is this segment of the show. I can reveal that the one and only Steve Bonham is behind it all, really. When I think on it, he bought me my first bread making machine all those years ago and encouraged its use. He's the one who's been on bread making courses and told me of the delights of it, and now he's providing me with a new type of flour to try and new recipes for it. Perhaps we're en route to being sponsored by some dastardly corporate yeast company or loaf tin company, and we will soon have new overlords to bow down to. Not just yet, though. So this week I tried a new sort of flour for making my bread after Steve gifted me some. I spent all week trying to remember whether it was rye or spelt. I just couldn't get it into my head, and it's rye. So I found a recipe online and just did a simple sort of free-form round loaf. There was a little bit of honey in this recipe, which I'd never used before. That was interesting. It turned out quite nice. Tasty loaf. It's quite dense, which I quite like. It takes forever to get anywhere near toasted. Once you've sliced it and trying to toast it, it takes forever. Mysteries of homemade bread. Perhaps it could have been a little bit lighter and a bit more springy, I don't know. But for a first attempt, I was quite pleased. Not really sure what the difference between the rye and normal flour is, but it's one of the things I'll sort of enjoy experimenting with. This loaf could certainly take some robust flavours. So I am looking forward to trying this out more and seeing what else I can come up with. That's it for this week. Thank you for listening wherever in the world you are. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, and now YouTube as well. The next episode will be out next Friday. Join us on YouTube for the Transatlantic Connection show and become part of the Transatlantic Connection movement. Head to youtube.com/thelongroadband. If you fancy buying us a coffee, you now can at buymeacoffee.com/thelongroadband. It's dead simple to just drop us a few quid to support what we do. It even accepts Apple Pay and Google Pay. Super easy. All of our music and merch is on Bandcamp, where you can help support a positive ecosystem for the music industry. Downloads, streaming, vinyls, CDs, the companion book, it's all there. thelongroadband.bandcamp.com. We're on Patreon at patreon.com/thevagabondway. Big thank you to our Patreons and a special shout out to Orla Flynn, James Lydon, Stuart Lydon, Yvette Lydon and Trish Taylor. Thank you for your ongoing support. If you'd like to support us, become a Vagabonder. You'll get free digital stuff and merchandise in the post if you want it. Help us create something different, something that entertains and something that inspires others. So join us on the journey and release the vagabond within. Patreon.com/thevagabondway. Thank you once again, brave adventurers, vagabonds and explorers, for joining us on the Vagabond Way. Remember, the world isn't beige. It's authentic, it's rich, and it's real. Embrace every last bit of it. Until next time, the journey goes ever on with The Long Road. Bye for now.